Hey everyone! So, welcome to another episode of Colorisma. I'm Shar, and today we're going to be talking about opening your first online shop. So, yep, there it is. I decided to go ahead and start an online shop this week for my the Golden Troop stuff. I also suddenly remembered that I can screen share on here on my computer. So I'm hoping that this will allow me to do more stuff that I can like show you on screen examples of stuff. Fingers crossed anyway. So, yeah, starting a shop, super easy, right? I mean, it's like 2 clicks and then you're done. Um, Not for me. Never for me. I've had several different online shops, and actually the one I decided to go with this week is one that I've been actually using for a number of years now. I am using Shopify. I am using the $10 Shopify plan because that's how I roll. And with that one, you don't get like a full website. That whole full website thing is like $30 a month, and I feel like I'm okay enough with the one that I have. It's a little bit convoluted. If you're really just want point and click, then maybe the $30 will be more worth it to you. And that is also in line more with like other services like Squarespace and all that kind of stuff. That's about that range. But if you are somewhat tech savvy, or at least don't mind pulling your hair out and trying to figure out tech issues for an entire 24-hour period, then I would say that the Shopify thing could be for you. So the way I have it is that you go to Shopify, you start your account, they assign you a store. So if you do want to open it, then you can. But if you don't pay for that option, it's just not a valid URL. But what they do offer is like an app. What they call is like their apps, and you can appify it and make it into a just like a little click, copy and paste click thing that you put into your website. My website is a Blogspot website because free is nice. And yeah, I just take the code and I clip it into the shop page of my website, and it's not like perfectly seamless. It takes maybe 2 or 3 extra seconds for it to load. But with my current, it's not, nobody's complained. Maybe if I had thousands and thousands of visitors every day or week or whatever. But until people start complaining, I feel like the solution I have is absolutely adequate. So yeah, that is the bare bones of the solution that I have. Let me see, I could probably pull up what I have on my website here. TheGoldenTroop.com. There it is. And then I will go to the shop real quick. And then I'll drag the screen down so y'all can see. So everything I just described, here's like the final. Let's see. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. It won't let me rip the tab out of the Firefox window so I can drag it down to the screen that I need. I can't even make this stuff up, y'all. Like, I wish I could. This is just my real life. This is how everything happens for me. Okay, I'm gonna take this URL. Okay, now it won't even let me click on it. It's really grumpy now. Okay, I made it mad. There we go. Nope. Okay. Jeez, talk about derailing. How do I have so many windows open? I didn't even. Oh, am I out? Did I lose it? Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Like I try every single week, and it doesn't matter how prepared I am, which I don't help myself by not preparing very well. but it wouldn't matter if I prepared very well. The same type of thing would happen. Okay, let's try this again. Oh boy. Okay. Go to the screen. Okay, so y'all can see. And as you can tell, it's like nothing is there and then suddenly things are there. So it does take a while for it to load. Strictly speaking, if you go to all of the websites and such, they will tell you that it's very bad that it takes that long to load. And I say, yeah, it's $10 a month. Yes, absolutely. I'm curious where your shop is. Is it hosted somewhere, Christy, or how's your shop set up? I'm interested in hearing about different ways that people do it. So here is what it looks like. This is the little widget where my stuff lives. And currently I started off with stickers. So Shopify is the first step. And for a long time, I wanted to do print on demand stuff where basically when people put an order, it technically went to a print on demand shop somewhere else. And then they printed it and fulfilled it and then shipped it. And then I would just get whatever the percentage was from that. So I wanted this solution for years, and I just couldn't really find it, or when I found it, I didn't either understand what was going on as far as the concept of it went, or I don't know. But I looked again just this week, and I watched a bunch of videos and comparison websites, and I saw the Printful versus Printify, and when I saw that, I was like, yes, this is the solution. And I've heard of these things before, but I did not really understand how it worked until this week. And it does work exactly like I thought. I feel like when I looked at it before, they had more like upfront costs. I could just be misremembering, or maybe that was my assumption, but I didn't check into it enough. But right now, 2021, sounds weird to say it the other way. There is not a upfront cost at all. So you can just link through I wouldn't say painless series of events, but you can link your Shopify with Printify, and then you can also link your Shopify with Facebook. And then that gives you the opportunity to link up on Instagram, which is, we'll get into that. That was the biggest headache for me this week. But yes, so I saw Printful. I hate that these names are so close. Printful is full of quality. That's how I remembered it. And Printify, I don't have a quippy little thing, but Printify was, for shirts anyway, like the shirt washed out faster or whatnot. So that's how I decided to start my shop, is with Printful, because I do want to do shirts and merchandise in that way. And I would like them to be as high quality as possible, even if it means like I get a little bit less of a cut, because as for now, this is the best method for me to be able to offer physical merchandise to customers that are interested in the property that I'm developing. And I want to do the best by my customers, because I also want one of these shirts once I come up with them, and I don't want it to fade in like 6 months. And that was one of the things I watched, was that they had a shirt side by side ordered, one from Printify, one from Printful, and the Printify shirt was like super faded. Like the design was printed on there, and it was like super faded and like scratchy, and you could see through it with the dark blue shirt behind it. And I was like, nah, we won't do that for apparel. But I had a great idea at 4 a.m. last night as I was scrolling around online, and I was like, why not both? And so that's something I might mess with later today, is starting up both shops and doing shirts on Printful. But I think Printify, I'm not sure, but I want to double check, does enamel pins. or some kind of pins. And so enamel pins are like super, super like big right now. Not as big as they were like 2-3 years ago, but they're still pretty popular and pretty big. So if they can do enamel pins on Printify, then I might have both products on there. I don't care. I don't really care where they get fulfilled as long as, you know, it's sustainable and not, you know, super problematic. And I basically have no shop loyalty at this point. I do want to order the items myself. I've ordered, I tried to order both stickers, but I accidentally ordered the same sticker twice. But yeah, so I'm checking that out. So here's my different options. I have this Aspa sticker, which I've dubbed the hurrah sticker. She sounds way cooler than that. Way scarier. And then the Aspa Flight sticker, which is actually two of my characters. That's actually Morg, probably attacking Aspa because they're not friends. But yeah, it looks cool. Got the wings behind, golden eagle wings with Aspa jumping. So those are the two options that I have right now. I'm gonna minimize this hopefully. And then the next option I want to do is a sticker with Ryoxia's face like this. I'm going to call it the Blep sticker. And I just want her face, like almost like a little football head, and then two little ears down below. Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can work on that while I'm talking, but we all know how that usually works. So let me check here. Okay, just Etsy. That's right. Okay. That's another valid option too for getting started with your shop, is just kind of offloading almost all of the responsibility of having it on your site and just kind of just have the site on a print demand service. And I do have that. I have Redbubble, I have Society 7, I have probably still a Cafe Press somewhere. And I do have an Etsy, but I haven't sold on Etsy in a long time. So that is definitely a way to go. There are lots of pros and cons with that. The difference between Etsy and say like Redbubble is that Redbubble is a POD store, which means print on demand, which means they do everything. You just upload the design and then get your cut when you make sales. And the main thing about that is that it's with both too. But especially for Redbubble, you have to be the main person driving traffic to your site. It's possible they do have a I won't speak on how robust it is, but they do have a marketplace kind of thing there. And on those marketplaces, people can search if you've tagged your stuff correctly. People can search and then find your products and then order it. But I will say, by and large, the biggest thing and the biggest way for you to make money on one of those sites is to just constantly drive your customers and traffic to it. There is a little bit of name recognition with Redbubble, at least anyway. I think definitely more so than maybe Society 7. Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. Is it Society 7 or Society 6? See, I'm not even getting it right. So they need to work on their branding a little bit. But yeah, so you can definitely work on driving traffic to those sources, but it is a constant thing. If you are someone, I mean, it is for any of it, right? For any of it, you have to drive traffic. But I will say I've made very few sales on Redbubble just from sitting and waiting for people to find my stuff. But I will say that is probably how I've made largely all of my sales on that website. So it is what it is. Etsy is where you almost can't do print on demand. They actually kind of insist that you be the seller, in the sense of like all the items come from you. And I tried to set up, of course, I still tried to make it a POD type of thing when I did do it. I tried to set up a print shop there, and then I would fulfill each order as it came in. by ordering it remotely at a print shop, and then they would ship it out. It didn't do super well in the sense, and it had nothing to do with Etsy. It had everything to do with how I was marketing it. But theoretically, it could have worked. It just didn't really work. So yeah, Etsy is also one that has a lot of kind of fees tacked onto it. They also have they do have the market, so you can go on like regular TV and get Etsy commercials now. So they do have the name recognition. People understand what Etsy is for the most part. They understand that it's like handmade stuff and custom stuff there. You do have to drive traffic to it a lot, and you're kind of like at the mercy of them whenever they want to do something. Like if they want to make a free shipping or whatever thing, which I think was the big hullabaloo a few, I don't know, years or months now, I can't remember, but they decided to make free shipping a thing, and then all of the stores just had to comply. And so they didn't really get a choice in the matter. So yeah, that's the kind of thing with Etsy is like, you got to be aware of is they control the whole entire platform. You're just there. Like they get all their cuts. They assign all that kind of stuff. With Shopify, of course, they get a cut too, but depending on which plan you have, I said again, the like technically it's $9. But I have that plan. And so it assigns a certain cut from the different sales and everything there, based whether or not they're on like credit card or whatever. And then if you buy up into the different plans, you get a better cut and whatnot. So it's kind of what you want to do and what you are like able to do and what your availability is and how well your business is doing as to which one of those you want to do. So that is the general gist of, and of course there's the other, I was going to say that's the general gist of those kind of stores. And then I'll of course say that there is another option where you just buy merchandise and then you just sell merchandise. And you can do that on Shopify and you can do that on Etsy. You can do that on a lot of platforms, actually. You could do that on Amazon if you wanted. And that one is a definite option. It is certainly possible for you to do it, but it's very costly upfront because you have to make the upfront purchase of whatever items that you're selling. You do get the biggest return. So you say, like, for instance, if you bought 50 stickers for like $10 from someplace and you sold each, I'm not going to try to do math. I'm not going to calculate how much you'll earn, but then you can sell each sticker for like $2. You know, you're going to get a little bit better profit because you'll make the whole entire $2 back. Maybe, and then if you charge shipping on top of it. Whereas the print on demand places, you don't pay anything up front, which is nice. They charge however much they're going to charge for a sticker, $2, $3, whatever. And then you have to put whatever you're going to make on top of it. So you say you want to make like $1 per sticker, then that means that final sticker price is going to be like $4 for a little itty bitty sticker. And people may not want to pay that for a little itty bitty sticker. So that's hard. You know, that's what kind of the challenge is with the print on demand stuff as opposed to the other stuff. So you have to take that with what it's worth and see whether or not that's worth it to you. If your followers don't mind paying the extra, or if you want to start investing, maybe if your shop's big enough, you can start investing and buying the merchandise yourself. I say starting off though, print on demand is a really good option because you have enough on your plate trying to get everything started and getting brand recognition and people even knowing that you exist, and then doing all the marketing and doing all the business stuff and then doing all of the everything, that if you can have just one other thing taken off your plate. So the way I see it is a lot of shops kind of start off print on demand, and then they move into the buy your own stuff and sell your own stuff and ship it all from your house model. And then they move to the bigger, like Express plan, enterprise plan, where they then offload that. So they still buy all of their own merch. It's just they move that next step of the process of selling and putting it all together. They get a warehouse to do that for them. Again, you can do that through Amazon, and you can do that even through, I think Printify offers that option as well. But that's well down the road, certainly for me, probably for anyone watching this as well. But it is an option, and it's good to know kind of like where you can kind of see the business growing for you. So yeah. All right, let's see. I don't remember what this file looks like. I'm not sure if it's gonna let me, it may not let me do anything. It's being very slow. I'm trying to do stuff and it's just like, no. So I may not really get much done today, but that's okay. I never do on these shows. But yeah, Christy also makes a good point too, that it's good to not have all your eggs in one basket. So the reason why I kind of wanted to expand into merch, there's a few different ways or reasons why you might want to do this. One, I did a little, you like how I start a list and then I just move on into a little story. So I did a little Twitter poll, and I asked, when should you start making merchandise? And I think my options were something like, when you get enough followers, when someone asks you, and one other option that got one vote, and I can't remember what it said. But the biggest one that everybody kind of aligned with is when people start asking you for merch. And I did get one person asking me for merch, and I got really excited about it, and I decided, like, let's do this. I want to see my stuff on things. So I went ahead and like went into a little frenzy, and instead of working on my comic, I started at my shop instead, because that's how I roll. But yeah, so that's kind of up to you. You can start your own shop when there's enough demand for it, or you can start your own shop whenever, right? Like, for me, I'm actually finding it really motivational to have this shop now. It's a little weird. It's a little bit cart before the horse, but that's kind of how I run my whole entire business. Back to what all the eggs in your basket thing that I mentioned earlier. Right now, I only have Patreon. That's it. And earlier this year, I did a show where I talked about all these things I wanted to do, and these plans and this strict schedule I was going to try to do, and none of it's worked out. I think I was supposed to have, like, according to the schedule I made up, like 4 patrons a week, and I don't know, whatever 4 times 4 is. I'm bad at math. I'm not even going to try because I'm going to get it wrong. Whatever. I was supposed to have a ton more patrons now, and I don't. I didn't even get a single patron in January. And I had been trying to advertise more, and I had been trying to do that. So I think there's something to be said. I'll probably do a follow-up episode of like how not to make goals, because I'm really good at showing how not to do things. But I'll just say that the thing that was the thing, okay, my brain was just like, nope, you can't have that thought anymore. But yeah, so I tried to make a bunch of goals. It didn't work. So I am kind of like a little bit lost. I've been in like this lots of different kind of modes of thinking and feeling about everything. And this shop has been the one thing that I've kind of like done this year where I've been like, you know, this is actually really motivating for me, because it's making me want to do stuff and create and talk about my work and everything in a way that isn't like super salesy, which I think it can start feeling that way if you only have your Patreon. And then, like, to circle back to the eggs in one basket, if everything you have in order to make sales and everything is like only from one source, if anything happens to that source, if anything happens to Patreon, then I have nothing anymore. I like got to start really from zero. But if I have different people buying my products through the comic that I'm hosting, and I'm also trying to eventually like get everything on thegoldentroop.com. I'm still working on that angle. Like I'm so like business savvy or whatever, but um I'm trying to make it so all the social medias work together. So I do have the comic hosted on Instagram right now. I am working on trying to move that to my website, but for now, that's what I have. And so the other thing I want to do is have it so when people do go to the website, they have something they can do. They can check out the comic, they can check out the shop. If they really want to, they can check out Patreon. But ultimately, Patreon is one of those things that like someone has to really, really believe in what you're doing or really, really feel passionate about it to the point where they are giving you money like every single month. And I'm so grateful for the people that I do have on my Patreon. But I have been struggling for years now to get people who aren't like close friends or family on that platform. So the thing with that is it's a lot to ask someone for like a super big commitment. And kind of asking for monthly, like every single month doing something is sort of a big ask. I've heard before in the past that like it's like kind of asking for a marriage proposal. And I don't know if it's quite that serious, but it is definitely a bigger step than saying, hey, why not buy a $4 sticker one time? So the difference there is going to be what you're getting out of it. So the Patreon is nice because it is like more stable, theoretically anyway. Even as you grow, people leave, but people also come on board at about the same rate. So it's relatively stable from month to month. It has been stable for me, but I also have a bunch of friends on there who just keep supporting me because they're so awesome, because they're like still my friends. So that part is nice. However, like I said, if anything happens to that platform, which we can't control because we don't own Patreon, then yeah. Or if they start doing some business practice that you're really against and you want to leave, like you're going to feel like your hands are tied because all of your people are there. They already know that platform, and then moving them over to a new one will be very difficult. You'll lose people. A lot of my people who subscribe on Patreon, I don't think, this is going to sound mean, but I don't think they're super big fans of my work so much as they just want to support me. So they're not really like checking Patreon all the time, checking every single update that I make, and are really invested in the things I'm doing on Patreon. They just, signed up, they do the monthly thing and they don't think about it anymore, which is totally fine. I'm not mad at that at all. But that said, if I were to switch platforms, those are the people I think would be the most hesitant to really just like, oh yeah, I'm super on board with this. They're gonna be like, oh, I gotta do another thing, So I'm thinking about those kind of things, all of those kind of things all the time. The nice thing about the shop is that it's like people who first see my comic, maybe read it all the way through and are really excited about it, really like one of the characters. And then I have like this little shop of things that it's just like, here, look, do you like this character? Here, you can have a little sticker with it. And they might just go, oh, yeah. And the thing is, that situation is probably more likely to happen more often than someone like wanting to invest in me to the point of subscribing for a long time on Patreon, at least like a couple months. So I'm banking on the fact that even though I have a very small audience at the moment for this particular property, I am like crossing my fingers that maybe this is a better way to go, because it is new and shiny. And so like I am aware that like my brain is latching on to the new and shiny at the moment. But that said, I am also like I don't know, low-key invested that like this will work out. This will be the thing that works out. This could be just me deluding myself, but we got to get through the year somehow, right? We got to get through life somehow. Um, so yeah, that is what the current plan is. I am thinking about making like a little extra thing, probably once a week, maybe making a new different sticker once a week. And then usually like this is the first panel or the first page of the comic, this particular image. So I do plan on going back, finding like some iconic images from the comic or some things that I've drawn in the past and then turning those into stickers rather than like starting from absolute scratch. So that's the other thing is you can do with these shops, especially the print on demand ones, just work with what you already have. There is a little bit of work involved, like I'll have to finish out the head on this. I'm like gesturing as if you can see it. I will have to finish out drawing the head and like the little features and making the background transparent and whatever, but that's a lot less work than starting with a blank screen and then completely drawing from scratch. So definitely make use of all of the avenues you can when you are working on these shops and these ideas, because constantly churning out brand new artwork all the time, while good for social media algorithms, it's very exhausting on the artist. And a lot of people have an issue, not necessarily have an issue, but they definitely get burned out from having to constantly act like you're a machine and just like cranking out stuff all the time. It's very exhausting. And especially if you're working a part-time thing, if you're a parent and you have kids, or even if you're a dog parent, you have, you know, other responsibilities. If you have anything you're taking care of, then all this extra stuff just tends to really get daunting. Yeah, so if you are slow going at the start, it's a good idea to have everything set up so you don't have to scramble in the future. Yeah, I definitely recommend thinking about your shop a little bit. Like I'd been thinking about starting up this shop for 2 years now, and I wasn't sure which kind of products or things I would offer, but I was like, I'll know when I get there. Like when I get to the point of starting a shop, then I'll know. Stickers are kind of like really big right now. I'm kind of noticing. I sort of pay attention to trends and stuff, and it really feels like stickers I keep seeing everywhere from artists at the moment. And I'm not above going on trends and stuff and kind of making use of that. So that is why I decided to start with stickers. But I do plan on maybe somebody specifically asked about a shirt. And it's not to say that I can't just, you know, pop on the site and just create a shirt design and throw it out there and make a sale. But I'm wanting to, for the bigger ticket items, I'm kind of wanting like to build up to it, to like bring people into the shop idea and then keep talking about it and keep talking about it. And then eventually I want to get to the point where I'm like launching a shirt, because like people are so interested and invested in the shop and getting another cool thing that they could potentially buy, that then they'll like want to get the shirt, right? As opposed to just like, I could just launch it right now and nobody will know about it and nobody will think about it or really care. So that's like definitely the planning ahead can kind of like help you, even with POD stuff, even, you know, just starting out. You can start off small and build up. Like that's my whole entire thing. Like that's everything I do is based on that principle. So I definitely recommend that. To cycle back all the way to the beginning when I was talking about setting up the Shopify and getting Printful set up and then opening the Instagram shop. So I think I'll take a minute to talk about how that whole process went, because right now you can sell things, and I think you have been able to for a couple years now. You can sell things on Instagram. They remade their whole entire interface to accommodate this. It was a big thing when that happened and people were not super happy about it. But that said, they did do this. It's probably the way that they're going to keep it for a while, and I'm deciding to lean into it. Like, let's just make it work for me. Like, sure, I didn't love the fact that the notifications spot got moved to a shop that I now never click, but you know what? Like, whatever. So I was hoping that I could take my print on demand stuff and then sell it on Instagram. And you can, but it's not easy. So I'm going to try to explain this in the best way, but it's just really complicated. And until you're in there doing the process, a lot of this is going to probably sound really abstract, and I'm just going to apologize in advance. But so I set up the Shopify, done. I set up the Printful, done. I ordered an item from Printful, and then I even and I set it up on my website. All of that was done. All of that was working. I advertised it, and a friend bought a sticker, so I was like super happy about all of that. Cool. Well, I went ahead and decided that I would want to set up the Facebook shop. They did open a new app for Facebook. So I had an old one. I deleted that after I started up the new one. And then that's where the complications began. Everything on the Shopify side was fine. It was a little bit of integrating it with the Instagram side that was difficult, because you have to have your shop approved by Instagram. I'm pretty sure by bots, because the speed at which this happened was very fast. I mean, it was a couple of minutes between when they were telling me that my shop was either rejected or the review was in progress or whatever. Like, it was all very fast. So I'm trying to remember the order in which this happened. So I set up all this stuff on Shopify, and then once it asked me that, like, I had to do some of the stuff on the Instagram app, then I started doing that. I linked up the Instagram account with my Shopify account through Facebook. All of it has to be through Facebook. And that part went fine. And then I'm trying to think where the first hang up went. It asked me to verify the website. That's what it was. So I told it thegoldentroop.com. And the first time I did it, I got so excited, I didn't actually put the merchandise on it. I was going to put it on there, and I hadn't yet. I did all this in a period of like 6 hours one night. And so it failed because it said no merchandise detected on this website. And I was like, okay, that's fair. I did not put the merchandise on this website, so you did not detect it. I get it. So I went ahead and went into my shop on Blogspot and added all of the stuff and put the merchandise on there, like the way you saw on the website earlier. And yeah, it seemed to work out fine. I resubmitted because it gives you one chance to resubmit. Just be aware of this. So make sure it's as correct as possible. And so I did, and I just put in there, like, there's a shop on this website, and it got approved. And I was like, oh, sweet. Okay, cool. So then I went to go like create a post about it, or just try to like tag it in anything, because that's the really beneficial part of this Instagram shop thing, is that in normal Instagram, whatever rules or whatever, you cannot add a link to, like, when you do your stories and how you can swipe up and then you can go to a link. You can do that after you hit 10K followers, not before. But I saw a friend do a product post and she did not have 10K followers. So I was like, oh, okay. So this means that this is something I could actually do, because I also do not have 10K followers. So this is great. Like, I do want to get this in on this Instagram product thing. So all that said, I was really excited for this possibility. However, what had ended up happening was that they, I guess, pinged the exact URL of the sticker. So it did not ping back to thegoldentroop.com. It pinged back to my Shopify store that didn't actually exist. Because of course it did, because it was hosted through Shopify. When you link back on all the URLs and dig through the HTML, that's where you're going to end up getting the ping from. So I was like, well, I explained it before and I sent it to them and appealed it and it went through right away. So maybe the same thing will be fine. And so I explained like, hey, I have an account through Shopify and it is hosted on my website, thegoldentroop.com. And I was like, that should work. Appeal. A couple minutes later, rejected, and you can no longer appeal again anytime soon. And I was like, cool. I had no recourse at that point. I thought I was locked out of doing anything on Instagram, and I was like, too bad, so sad. If I had tried again, if I had been able to try again, I would have opened up that store on Shopify, put my stuff on there, on the like my actual Shopify link, appealed, waited until it came through, and then probably closed the store. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it or not. They didn't say you couldn't do it that way, but that's how I would have tried to do it. But in the end, it didn't matter because a couple of days went by and then suddenly I could tag, I listed my other account, my Char Reed art account, as someone who can officially tag products in their stories and in their posts. And suddenly I was able to tag products. And then I went to the shop on the Golden Troop Instagram page and it was there and the items were available for purchase. And I was like, okay, I'm very confused how this is working, but it ended up working. I wish I could explain why that was. I have no idea. I don't know if they looked at the appeal and I have no idea. I got no update. It just suddenly started working. The other thing to keep in mind with this Instagram thing, and this is something that I'm kind of keeping track of right now, is that they are very, very strict about how soon you ship things out and all of their policies. And I understand why, because there's a kind of just dealing with like, this sounds mean, but everyday regular people and not like a business capacity where they're held accountable for their actions, like super legally. I mean, everyone is, but personal sellers are slightly different than like a big business chain or whatever. So they're very strict. They say you need to get it out shipped in 3 days and then like no more than 7. Like that's it, 7 days max. Now I'm doing a print on demand thing. So this isn't me like getting everything all together, going to the the post office and shipping it out. This is the print on demand place doing it for me. So I have a lot less control over the specific amount of days when this gets done. And I just kind of have to cross my fingers for each sale that it is done in the time that Instagram wants it to be done in. So I made it's also not super customizable. Before I get into this other story I'm about to tell, it's also not super customizable. So through the customization setup, it told me like, hey, how much do you want to ship? And I was like, I don't know, like, isn't it different for every single place? Like, and it didn't really allow like zones or regions or anything. Like it just, you had to give like a flat shipping rate. And I was like, I don't know, like I'll just start with 0 and see what happens. So once I saw my store was actually open and I got excited and I bought the wrong sticker, I meant to get the other one and I bought my own sticker just to see what the process looked like from all the different angles, how the payment got processed, when did payments go through, when did things get shipped, would the item actually get like sent to Printify. I wanted to check all this out myself before like before I started really advertising this a whole lot and getting it all sorted. Well, It did eventually work. It was a little slow in the sense of like it probably took an hour before Printify got the order and alerted me that it was going through. Like everything else, when I did the Printify stuff, when I did a test buy on Printify, like behind the scenes, it was really fast, like within seconds. Like it went exactly like how you expect it would. This one, it took like an hour for it to like get registered and get the email sent and everything. And there's also no, when you buy stuff on Instagram, there's no like notification. You don't get like a little notification in your notifications thing like, hey, you bought this thing, check out your receipt. You don't get that. Like it's all through your email. And it's pretty slow at sending you that email. So it was a little like, did I just mess up? Like, and it definitely took the payment. That was the part that went through really well. Like my PayPal, like it got taken straight out of there really fast. So that part was fine, but it was a little bit harrowing to wait and see on all this. The problem though is because I didn't charge shipping at first. Now I fixed it, but I actually owed the amount. So the total ended up being something like $4 something like that. And so Printify took their cut, which was like $2 or $3. And then Printify charged shipping because they're shipping it, which was like $3.50 or so. And then I had to make up the difference. Me as in like not me as the customer, but me as the business owner side. So now I like owed $2 or something to Printify for the shipping cost. So I was like, okay, let me fix that real fast. So now I have it set. Printify offers, as far as I can tell, flat rate shipping. So fortunately, it seems like I changed the shipping cost, so it should be good. I don't think I tried to get confirmation on this, but I couldn't. But I don't think anyone outside of the US can buy from my Instagram store. When I tried to add in a different address, it only kind of allows for US based addresses. It doesn't say country US and doesn't like give you a scroll down, but it does the state, city, zip code thing. And I don't think any other country quite has it like that. So I'm fingers crossed that I can only sell to the US. I wish that was kind of like the lack of customization on Instagram's part that I wish that they had, which is I wish you could, now you can specify where you want the ads based, which I did say US, but it does not say like you can only ship within this country. I wish it kind of did because I think that's how it works is like each Instagram shop is like country based. Like there are more Instagram shops in different countries like the UK and Australia, but I think I don't think you can be an Australian and buy from a US shop. I don't know. I tried to look it up and it was just talking about all this other different stuff that didn't answer my question at all. So it's an experiment. It's a little bit feels more risky than just opening the shop on my website. Like that feels fine. Like that feels not like a problem at all. I can absolutely control who the different shops are in what countries I can ship to or whatever on that side of things. The Instagram feels like more of the Wild West right now. The IG store doesn't sound very user friendly. It's not really. Like maybe I am making it slightly more difficult because I do have the POD thing set up and I am kind of going like an app within an app kind of thing. And that is complicating things more than it strictly needs to. If I just had, I don't have anything to like, if I just had a card, my hand is a card, and I had a bunch of cards and I like would ship them out, then that's much easier because you can put like, you know what, now I don't even know. I think you can put a quantity on it. I'm pretty sure you can. And then once it sells out, right? it's still like, though I don't think you can, I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's not great. It's had a couple years to like simmer. So I'm not sure why it's still kind of like, it feels like it's in beta mode right now. It's not super easy. But you can do the POD thing. So I'm giving it a shot. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed on that. You will see this new sticker here pretty shortly. I think I'm going to be able to finish it this week. Fingers crossed. And well, I mean, I did launch the shop this week, so I'll probably actually launch it next week. But I'll get it done this week, so I have it ready for next week. But yeah, so that is kind of like the gist of my experience with opening a shop this week. And it was very headache inducing and unfortunately made more complicated because I am doing print on demand stuff as opposed to selling it just via my little tiny house and going to the post office and stuff. I did that also for COVID reasons because I didn't want to constantly go out and be exposed to the public via the post office and whatnot, though you can schedule pickups or whatever. Like I'm just trying to make it so everything is as good as it can be for my situation. And the POD kind of stuff does work for COVID, and it also works for really, really small businesses. It also works for really busy people. Like if the shop is really like a side thing at the moment, and you don't have time to just, absolutely ensure, especially with the Instagram 3-day thing, that you get that kind of stuff out, then, I'm going to say definitely wait to do the more expensive buying your own merch and everything option and start with a POD site, because just getting the designs done is enough. Like that's hard enough. That's enough work right there to get started. So I definitely recommend going the POD route. So yeah, I'm excited about my new shop. I'm excited about making new designs. I've been coming up with different t-shirt and ideas for stickers and mugs and stuff for about a solid year now. Probably a little longer than that, but I'm really excited, and I am going to lean into the motivation to continue to do this, and allowing the store to give me the motivation to work on these like new merch ideas and launches and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see how it goes. I'm excited right now. I just want more people to like my little animal babies. But yeah, so I think I am all talked out on this topic. If you have any questions about it, I can do my best to answer what I know, and I hope I can, help you out with what I can. It is confusing. I also had to do like a extensive verify that you are this person thing on Facebook, which involved like W-2s and driver's license picture uploads and all this kind of stuff. So there is a lot of that kind of stuff in it as well. So you have to be comfortable with allowing that as also if you want to sell on Instagram. I did not have to do that for Shopify. I think I just put in my EIN and it was like, okay, you're good. So just be aware that some of these things do require more information from you for tax purposes than others. And Facebook is definitely very, I'll say thorough, not very user-friendly, but they are thorough. And it is difficult to keep track of what you need to do or what you don't need to do, because until I went into the Facebook side of the dashboard, I didn't even notice that I needed to give these official documentations of who I am, or my store was going to close. My Instagram store was going to close. And I was like, oh, thanks for like telling me that on the Shopify side of things, because that's like really important. But yeah, so always fun, always interesting. Check everything, um, and just be very as thorough as you can, and definitely play by their rules because you're on their platform. So you gotta do what you can do. Worst case, I will just continue to grow my platform and get to that 10K. Um, I, I'm reminding myself and everyone watching that the whole reason why I was really invested in potentially doing the Instagram thing and getting my store on Instagram now is because I could advertise it right now. I could advertise it in my stories and make links directly to these products and allow people to click on them without a lot of money for advertising or without the number of followers that it takes to be able to do that otherwise. So that's why I was so excited to start this now. Otherwise, like I said, if it doesn't work out, I'll just continue to grow my audience and host it all through my website and then link later once I get to that magical 10K number that will allow me to be able to do links to my shop on thegoldentroop.com. But yeah, I will leave you all with that. It was a lot of information. I did not get a lot done on my my new sticker design. But yeah, I hope that was informative for you, and that if you do want to get a store opened, then I hope that this offered a few different options to be able to do so, and especially at an entry level, because I feel like if it helps you get motivated to continue to create, then you should do it. And for me, that's the case. So, yeah, I appreciate you all watching. This has been another episode of Colorisma. And if you do want to support, you can like, share, follow us here and all the things in the description as well. We have a Patreon and you can support for $2 a whole entire month. You get support, and that is at patreon.com/colorisma. So thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye.